Hey y'all, I want to share with you how I made this layout. First of all, I want to point out the background. That's a really cool photo that my son took and gave to me as a Christmas gift a little over a year ago, and I'm going to be sharing that with you as a download so you can use it on your Guide Cool layouts also. But what I want to share with you is how to make this pie chart like layout. And it's not as hard as it looks. You have to first make a template, and you can see over here in my layers palette how I have these individual pieces of the pie, and then I have my photo above that template piece. I've hit Control G to group it and then resized it and moved it around until it fit right into the spaces. So if you need more help on how to utilize that, you'll have to go back to course 1 and the template tutorial. But what I want to show you is how to make this template. You have to excuse me, I'm a little sick here. And so I'm going to turn off all these layers so we have just this background to work with. I'm going to create a new layer and get the elliptical marquee tool, hold down my shift key to keep it proportionate, and I'm going to just draw a circle, and then you can get your paint bucket or just click Control or Alt backspace to fill that circle in. Control D will deselect, and now we just have a circle. It doesn't matter what color it is because we're just using this as a template. Actually, it should be a color of some kind and not black or white. It doesn't matter what color, just any color, and you'll see why in a minute. I was hoping to get through this without coughing, but it's not working. Yes, we all have to work even when we're sick. Go down to the View drop-down menu and choose Grid, and you may know that I have my grids set all the time from other tutorials that you've listened to the preferences of 1 inch and then divided by 2, so you got every ½ inch also. I'm going to actually turn off this cool background so we can see these lines better. Now I'm going to count. It doesn't matter exactly how you do this, but I'm working in a rectangular, so I have fewer squares than you do, but you need an even number of squares. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to make this square fit in here on 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Resize it down. I tend to cough more when I talk, so it fits in those 6 squares or whatever your even number is. And I'm going to scoot it over a little bit so it's also 6 squares this way. And now we have exactly where the middle is. That's easy to find. I'm going to get the polygonal lasso tool, and I'm always going to start from the middle. And I'm going to click down and go up here. For this piece of pie, it's pretty easy because I clicked on the right the same distance away from the square as I did on the left, and then back down, and I have a rectangle. Now I'm going to hit Control J on my keyboard, and you see I've made that rectangle into a new layer. Now I'm going to hit Control U to bring up the hue saturation box and just randomly change its color. Doesn't matter what it is, just so I can kind of see where that rectangle is. I'm going to go back and activate my original green circle and click straight down in the middle and to follow that same line on the edge as I did the first time, only this time I'm going to randomly go out this direction. Now you can make as few or as many of these as you want. I'm not making them so that they're all identical and proportionate, just kind of going random. And so I have another rectangle here, and I'm going to hit Control J, then Control U, and make it another random different color just so I could see where it is. Activate that original circle again, and we're just going to keep repeating this process. Right down in the middle, and I'm gonna, it's jumping around on me. There it is. Go out here. Just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to make this one much larger. Control J, Control U. Let's change that to another color. Go back to the original one. Control J, Control U. It's the same process over and over. Go back to the original one. It wants to jump around on me a little bit. Now you remember when you do these pie charts, they aren't normally straight across from each other. In other words, there's a line here. I really don't want to have a line straight across here. Most of the time when they're doing percentages on these charts, they don't have those lines straight across. Of course, I've coughed more during this movie than I have in the past 5 hours. Control J, Control U. And I only have one left to do. Oops. Control J, I don't need to change the color of that one. And now if I turn off this other circle, you can see, because I did it a little too fast because of the tutorial, I do have some gaps in there. If you zoom in when you do these and you're a little more careful, you won't get those gaps. What I did with my layout is I left this green layer, and since all of my pie squares were of this green color, I used the eyedropper and filled that in, and I just left that there to kind of fill in where I had some slices that weren't so great. And then I also just simply applied the drop shadow to this layer. Where are my drop shadows? And so I actually continued to utilize this original circle. One, to kind of hide where I goofed when I was doing things too quickly, and to have that layer style on there. I also utilize this, and I'll go back to the original after we do this, to make a circle around it. Hold down the Control key, click on the layer, the thumbnail of the layer to get marching ants around it. Select, modify, contract, and I contracted around 40, and then went to edit drop down menu, stroke, and I used a white one of 3 pixels, and Control D. Oh, let's go back. It does help if you put the stroke on a new layer. And then I had that little line of a circle that went around, which was really great. For my text, and we'll go back again and look at my original, but I want to show you, it did take a little bit of playing around. My text here, and I want to make that a little bit larger. Not that large. And I went to the warp text tool and chose the arc. And I went ahead and clicked OK, because then I turned my element, my text element, till it fit right in here. Now you can see that that arc is a little too much, and in fact the text size is a little too much, so I'm going to make it a little smaller. And now I'm going to go back to my text tool, and you don't have to highlight it to get it to change it. Just click down in there and go back to the warp tool, and now just eye it and move this slider until it is at an angle much closer to the angle of the curve of the circle. And then you can move that into place wherever you want it. Maybe resize it a little bit more. Back up now. But you get kind of the idea how I did that. And I actually, go on in there. I actually went ahead and at the end hit enter. Look how big it got. And drew a line. I'm not sure why that line is so much further than the line I did, but in my other one, but that's how, maybe I got an extra, yeah, let's do this. Let's just make it a lot smaller. Change the kerning in between. There we go. And now I have a line there underneath my text. And all I did was use the underline on the text tool in order to get that. Of course, now then you got to resize it back down because it's made it too big. But there you go. That's how I did that text in there. And I want to go back and show you my layout again now that you've seen all the techniques. This, let's turn off the grid, is just a circle with a bevel applied to it, a very small bevel. And I used my bevels that are in the download area as the style. And there's my layout again. So you can see now I have this circle around here, and how I use the word art to get this here. And that's pretty much it. And I look forward to seeing what you can come up with to do with this technique. I could even see arrows coming out, like this is actually a spinning thing, and maybe text in some of these would be very creative with the arrow pointing to something. I'm just getting your brain going. So do have fun with this, and I really look forward to seeing your creativity.